I am not here to tell you that you need to be doing social media. There's a lot of speakers that'll get up on the podium and they'll sing the praises of social media and hallelujah and let's convert you and get you on, and that's not why I'm here. In fact, I think there's going to be some of you in this audience that actually waste a substantial amount of time on social media. I don't think everybody needs it. I don't think everybody's cut out for it. Now, with that said, last year I got myself a puppy. And if you're wondering what kind of puppy I got, you can look at that bright green piece of paper right there. And her name's Bamboo, and she's a miniature schnauzer. And I got her. I brought her home. She was 8 weeks old. And she's all black, and she's got white feet and a white nose and white eyebrows. And when I got her home, she was like a poof ball. But 8 weeks old, I was convinced that my puppy was going to learn how to fetch. So here's how it went at the beginning. I'd take her favorite toy, get her all riled up, right? I'd throw the toy down the hallway. She'd run. She'd pounce on it. She'd pick it up and grab it in her mouth. And then she'd stand there looking at me. And I'd say, bring it back. And she'd get this look on her face like, and she had no idea what I wanted her to do. None. And the point is, if you're gonna have somebody do something, if you want somebody to do something, you have to speak their language. I was down a couple years ago. I was scouting for a documentary film in Recife, Brazil. Anybody ever been to Recife, Brazil? So you know it's way out in the boondocks. And I'm walking down the street, and I come around the corner, and I spot the perfect character. And he's this little old guy, and he's got a little wrinkled face and a little wrinkled hat, and he's perfect. And I want to interview him for the documentary. But the guy doesn't speak a lick of English. And if you want somebody to do something, you've got to speak their language. And when it comes to social media, there are thousands of networks, thousands of platforms. And for the sake of simplicity, today, I'm going to talk about Facebook as like a mass generalization. So as a business, when you go onto a platform like Facebook, there's two things that you're doing. One, you're going into an existing social network. And two, you're trying to get people to do something. It could be any number of different things. You're trying to get them to read your comments. You're trying to get them to go to your website. You're trying to get them to read your blog. You're trying to get them to watch your video. And ultimately, you're trying to get them to buy your stuff. Is everybody with me? Yeah. So you go into an existing social network, and you try and get them to do something. Now, who in this room likes doing something for people when there's nothing in it for you? Not too many of you, right? If you don't have something to offer people through social media, and if you're not going to speak their language, don't bother. And it's not like you have to personally speak the language. I mean, you can hire a translator like Mandy White. Mandy White owns a business, and she speaks the language of social media. So you either need to hire someone like Mandy White, or you need to learn to speak the language. Otherwise, don't bother. And it's not like you have to. I mean, you don't have to do, I mean, look at Maddie Bauer. She doesn't do social media. She's not on Twitter. And is she doing really awesome? Yeah. You don't have to do social media. Now, are you missing out if you don't? Yeah. It's sort of like saying to somebody, I don't really bother with email. But I have a cell phone, and I have a fax, and you can send something to me snail mail, but I just don't do email. I'm not into email. People are gonna be inconvenienced, especially because you, as the business person, it's up to you to actually create a relationship with people that work. They want you to speak their language. They want you to come to them on their terms. And so it's really your job to do whatever you need to do to connect with the people that you want to do business with. Now, I promise you one thing. After this speech, at least one person is going to go and want to follow me on Twitter. And when you go to Twitter, what you'll find is that I have 148 followers. Good thing they didn't know that when they booked me to do the speech. But am I missing out? I could have 10,000 followers. I mean, I actually live this really interesting life. My number of followers has nothing to do with how cool I am. It has everything to do with that I'm not sharing my life on Twitter. And we've all got excuses as to why we're not giving social media the attention it deserves. I mean, my favorite one is, I've written 4 books in 2 years. Do you know what it takes to write 4 books in 2 years? Do you think I have time for Twitter? So I want you to turn to someone next to you, and I want you to introduce yourself first off. And then I want you to tell that person, what is your favorite excuse for not giving social media the attention it deserves? I'm going to give you 30 seconds each. Go. I have my excuses for not doing social media, but the real kicker is that at least once a day, I get an email from Twitter that says, Jane Doe is now following you on Twitter. And I think to myself, oh, now I've really got to post something. Like the more people that just like accidentally show up to follow me, it's like, oh. And in fact, I resist Twitter so much that I have to set an alarm on my phone every day at noon. My alarm goes off on my phone, and it's a timed exercise. I have 5 minutes to update all of my social media platforms. And this is sort of what it looks like in my world. Oh gosh, what am I doing right now? I'm not feeling very articulate. I mean, I don't really have anything to say. What do people really want to know about me anyway? I mean, why do people sign up to follow other people on Twitter? And I mean, I want to say something that seems like really smart and that seems like, you know, it forwards my business, but I'm not really doing my business right now. I mean, so it's like death by paralysis. So who in this room is a marketer? So you're part of a team that's selling something. That includes if you're like a solo entrepreneur. Put those hands up. So pretty much most of the people in this room are marketers. OK, so listen really closely to what I'm about to say. In order to be successful with social media, you need to stop marketing. I'm going to say that again, because a bunch of you just totally bleeped that out. In order to be successful with social media, you have to stop marketing. Those people that sign up to follow me on Twitter, they don't want me to sell them anything. They're not interested in my advertisements. And between you and me, I'd love to be selling them something, but it just so happens that it doesn't really work. So they are looking for something other than marketing. And what are they looking for? They want me to lead them.